when you look at a sports app on your phone and you see a final score, there's this illusion of total clarity.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It's so deceiving.
Yeah, it's like looking at a receipt after a dinner out. You see the numbers, you pay the bill, and you think, okay, I know exactly what happened here.
But you totally don't.
Exactly. But when you look at Colombia's 3-1 win over Uzbekistan in Group K of the 2026 World Cup, that neat little receipt hides an incredibly complex story.
So much more than just a football match.
Right. So welcome to today's deep dive. We've got a wild stack of sources today, everything from FIFA match reports and tactical breakdowns to geopolitical news segments, fan culture deep dives, and even this massive directory of women's sports media.
It's quite the mix.
It is. And our mission today is to explore this single 90-minute game, because to the untrained eye, it was just a standard 3-1 win for Colombia. But looking at our sources, this match is actually a magnifying glass for viral pop culture moments, deeply passionate diaspora communities, and honestly, massive geopolitical shifts happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, I mean, it is the perfect example of what happens when a highly structured athletic event collides with real-world dynamics, you know? You have an established South American powerhouse trying to impose their rhythm against a Central Asian nation that is stepping onto the global stage for the very first time.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's jump right into the tactical chess match down at Mexico City's Estadio Azteca.
Yeah.
Because the on-field action really sets the stage for everything else.
It's the foundation of the whole story.
Right. So I was looking at the possession stats, and Colombia held the ball for like 64% of the time.
Yeah.
Which sounds dominant.
It sounds like a total blowout on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the first hour, it honestly looked like they were just passing in this big horseshoe shape around the penalty box, getting absolutely nowhere.
Well, that is the brutal reality of facing what's called a low defensive block.
Right.
To understand what was happening there, you have to picture a team completely abandoning the entire top half of the field, like completely giving it up.
Just handing it over.
Exactly. Uzbekistan essentially built a human wall. They used a 5-4-1 formation, so 5 defenders, 4 midfielders, and they packed all of them into a space maybe 20 yards from their own net.
Wow.
Yeah, they're actively squeezing out every single inch of space where an attacker might even think about making a run.
Which completely neutralizes Colombia's primary weapon, right? Because under their coach, Mestre Lorenzo, Colombia, has been utilizing this 4-2-3-1 or sometimes 4-3-3 system that is built on really rapid vertical transition.
That's their whole identity now.
It's like if a vertical transition offense is like a coiled spring, it needs an opposing force pressing down on it to release and explode forward into the open grass.
That is a great way to visualize it.
But if the opponent just sits back and refuses to press them, there is no tension.
Right.
The spring has nothing to push off of.
Yeah, you nailed it. Lorenzo took over a team that was, frankly, emotionally shattered after they failed to qualify for the 2022 tournament, and he rebuilt their identity around that exact coiled spring intensity.
Which worked. They entered this tournament on a stunning 28-game unbeaten streak.
It's incredible. But against a stubborn low block like Uzbekistan's, those system mechanics just break down. You literally can't outrun a wall.
Right.
You have to rely on a player who can basically manipulate the geometry of the field. And for Colombia, that player is Luis Diaz.
The 29-year-old Bayern Munich star. I mean, he's coming off a massive club season, right?
Yeah.
So like 26 goals and 19 assists.
Yeah, his form is unbelievable right now.
And he was the absolute engine for Colombia in this match. I kind of view him like a lockpicker dealing with a rusted vault. Yeah. Sometimes you don't need a battering ram. You just need that one perfect specialized tool.
Exactly.
But how does one player actually dismantle a 9-man wall?
Well, by creating his own gravity.
Okay, explain that.
So when all the space is squeezed out, you need a player who pulls 2 or 3 defenders out of their assigned zones just by threatening to dribble. Diaz forces the opponent to double-team him.
Oh, I see.
And when those defenders step toward him, they leave tiny pockets of space behind them for other players to exploit.
Which perfectly explains that ridiculous outside-of-the-boot pass he made to Daniel Munoz in the 40th minute.
Exactly. Diaz drew the defenders in, the seam opened up just a fraction, and he threaded the needle.
He had already hit the post earlier in the match, around the 32nd minute, and his gravity eventually led to him scoring his first ever World Cup goal in the 65th minute, right? Off that great setup from Gustavo Porta.
Yeah, and we saw that cascading effect across the entire front line, really.
Because everyone else gets more room.
Right. John Arias was finding room to hit the side netting early on. James Rodriguez suddenly had the breathing room to dictate the tempo from the midfield.
Right, right.
And eventually, all that sustained pressure just caused the wall to crack. That's what allowed Jementin Campaz to seal the 3-1 win in the 98th minute with a header off a cross from Cucho Hernandez.
I do have a question about their longevity in this tournament, though. But wait, Luis Suarez barely touched the ball before being subbed off around the hour mark.
Yeah, it was a quiet night for him.
So if Colombia is this reliant on Diaz's individual transition speed and gravity to pry open a defense, what happens if a top European team successfully shuts him down?
That is the lingering question hanging over Lorenzo's system. The transition game is elite, no doubt. But defensive vulnerabilities absolutely remain when the game slows down. If Diaz is taken out of the equation by a top-tier defense, the focal point of their attack basically vanishes. But Colombia does possess a secret weapon that you really can't map on a tactical whiteboard.
Oh, the fans.
Yes, the sheer overwhelming momentum of their fan base. They are literally the 12th player.
The imagery from their recent tournaments is just incredible. Our sources really highlighted this. You look back at the 2023 Women's World Cup run in Australia, and you saw this 35,000-strong diaspora community treating these matches like a religion.
It was a spectacle.
They created this entire carnival-style atmosphere outside the stadiums. People were wearing these elaborate tiger headdresses because the tiger symbolized a team that is, quote, ready to attack.
Right, and for a diaspora community living thousands of miles from home, these global tournaments become a rare, highly visible platform to celebrate their cultural identity.
Yeah.
It creates a literal wall of sound that intimidates opponents and provides a tangible wave of energy for the players on the pitch.
And what really stands out from the sources is that this passion isn't just a costume party that happens once every 4 years. It fueled a massive boom in women's sports media.
Oh, totally. The ecosystem around it is huge.
Yeah, there's this massive directory from million podcasts highlighting the top 50 women's sports podcasts. You see shows like Attacking Third or The Gist of It, drawing these highly engaged listener bases.
It's a massive shift in sports media.
It really is.
Yeah.
The explosion of media around female athletes is a testament to how deeply soccer permeates the everyday culture for these fans. They carry the team.
They absolutely do. Colombia brought that rhythmic, established cultural weight to the stadium. But their opponents brought an entirely different kind of energy to North America.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because Colombia brought the noise, but Uzbekistan brought this entirely unexpected viral circus.
A literal circus.
We are talking about the historic debut of the first Central Asian country to ever play in the World Cup. And they actually took the lead. The 22-year-old midfielder, Ablasbek Hayzuleyev, scored their historic first goal in the 60th minute.
It's a huge moment for them.
But for the millions of casual fans watching online, the defining moment didn't happen in the penalty box.
No, it did not.
The collision. Abdukodir Kusanov, this blazing fast 22-year-old center back who plays for Man City, he's chasing Luis Diaz near the touchline.
He was flying.
He's carrying so much momentum that he literally runs out of bounds and accidentally knocks out a cameraman. The play stops, medics rush in, and the clip immediately takes over all of social media.
It was everywhere within minutes.
It's like a newcomer crashing a Hollywood red carpet, you know? They weren't just happy to politely wave, they literally collided with the paparazzi.
That is exactly what it felt like.
But I have to ask, does this viral off-field circus distract from the fact that they actually have top-tier talent on the roster?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the off-field buzz is actually matching their on-field grit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tactically, the intensity we saw in that collision is the bedrock of their system. We talked about that disciplined 5-4-1 defensive wall earlier, right?
Yeah.
That structure comes directly from their coach, Italian legend Fabio Cannavaro.
Oh, okay.
He was a legendary defender himself, and he's instilled this highly organized, physically punishing system, and that rugged intensity is totally being mirrored by their fan base.
The White Wolves.
Yes, the White Wolves supporters. The sources note they have these like movie star looks and action hero physiques, and they are just taking over fan fests in Houston, Atlanta, and Mexico.
Which brings a completely different kind of spotlight. And with that spotlight comes some friction. The sources detailed that viral pre-match moment in New York against the Netherlands.
Oh, the bus incident.
Yeah, the Uzbek team bus was met with K9 units and metal detectors at the stadium.
People freaked out online.
Naturally. But Cannavaro calmly had to clarify that it was just standard U.S. security protocol, not some slight against the team. It really shows how every single thing they do is under a microscope now.
It is. But let's look at the tournament implications, because after losing 3-1, things are complicated.
Right.
Kusanov and their captain, Eldor Shomurodov, are proven talents. But the other 9 players really must step up.
But Group K is actually wide open now, isn't it?
It really is, because DR Congo held Portugal to a 1-1 draw.
With a historic goal from Yohan Wissa.
Right, so nobody factored in Portugal dropping points. The group is entirely up for grabs.
So what does this all mean? Let's pull the lens way back. How is this football team acting as a billboard for a changing nation?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to look at the concept of the new Uzbekistan.
Okay.
This is a movement promoted by their president, Shavkat Mirziyoyev. This golden generation of athletes basically represents a country aggressively shedding its post-Soviet isolation.
And it's a massive geopolitical shift. Our sources detail how Uzbekistan is moving away from its reliance on Russia and forging new ties with China and the U.S.
Yep, opening up trade.
There was even a specific detail about the Trump administration's interest in critical minerals during meetings at the UN. They're opening their doors to the world.
And we are seeing social evolution alongside that, especially a dramatic shift in women's rights.
Which is huge.
The sources highlight the story of Mokina Akarova. She is a forward on the U17 national squad, and she openly dreams of playing abroad.
Wow.
Contrast this powerfully with the recent past, where women were actually forbidden from traveling without permission from their husbands or fathers.
That is a night and day difference. Now, we do have to introduce the pushback from the sources here. And just to be super clear for you listening, as your guides today, we are absolutely not taking a side on the politics here.
Definitely not.
We're just neutrally reporting the diverse viewpoints presented in the source material. We're not endorsing any one view.
Right, we're just looking at the info.
Exactly. So, with that said, the sources detail the perspective of a lawyer named Giora Rafieva.
Yes.
And she argues that while there are major changes, touting sports success is really a form of image washing for reforms that only exist on paper.
Yeah, her argument is that flashy stadiums don't equal a fair judicial system, but contrast that with a local fan they interviewed, Delshad Kusanov.
I loved this part.
He joked that watching the team struggle in that defensive block made him want to break his TV.
Yeah.
But he also openly complained about the government spending so much on sports instead of local infrastructure.
Which is incredible, because his very ability to publicly complain about government spending without disappearing is, ironically, a sign of immense democratic progress.
Exactly. It's a total paradox.
But are we putting too much pressure on a group of 20-somethings kicking a ball to solve decades of complex geopolitical tension?
I mean, they obviously can't solve it. A football match doesn't rewrite laws, but they are undeniably the global ambassadors of it. They are the face of this transition for millions of people tuning in.
Which is exactly why we do these deep dives. Because if you're prepping for water cooler talk, or you just want to be well-informed, you now know that a 3-1 scoreline is never just a number.
Never.
It's a story of Nestor Lorenzo's tactical brilliance, its viral fandom, it's the massive growth of women's sports media, and it is a nation awkwardly but bravely introducing its new identity to the world.
It's all connected.
It really is. Now, I want to leave you with a brand new concept to ponder on your own, something that wasn't covered in our sources today.
Okay, let's hear it.
When a rapidly developing nation's sports infrastructure and global exposure suddenly outpace its domestic civic infrastructure, what happens next?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, if this golden generation of athletes goes global and experiences the world, will it trigger a brain drain of their top talent? Or will they eventually return home to fundamentally alter the civic DNA of their country? It's something to think about the next time you check a box score. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the sources. We'll see you next time.